It takes one core Gundam to control one set of armor. How many does it take to control a dragon? As many as you could buy. What is going on, guys? MG2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the SD Valkylander from Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise. So this thing, it's in its gun dragon mode, and I have to say it does look pretty good. Of course, only in certain angles because it's basically the Astria having parts attached to it just to have it look like a dragon. Of course, you can see from the back here it looks the worst because you got obviously the Astria's arms and hands, and you could easily make out the Astria structure, but from the front it does look pretty good. It is pretty accurate, although in my eyes the matte red is a tad bit too dark compared to the original line art. It should be more of like an orange-ish red instead of this kind of richer red. And the gold over here, it has this very grainy metallic gold, which is probably good in some people's eyes. It's definitely good in my eyes because I would not need to have to paint this in the regular Tamiya gold spray paint, kind of deeper brownish gold, because I like the grainy feel of the gold. And in this build I didn't really use nippers. Of course, the gold parts, some of them required nippers, for example the horns over here, but most of the parts over here I can just twist off the plates and there isn't really any noticeable nut marks. But of course you can go ahead and clean it up, but as far as I'm seeing now, it doesn't really have any irritating nut marks for me to clean it off. Of course, the most irritating part is the dragon head over here, which does have quite a noticeable nut mark. I twist the dragon head off, it has a noticeable nut mark, you can clean that up. But this is not an out-of-box build. I did paint quite a bit on this SD. For example, the black accents on the V-fin, I kind of messed it up over here. That's why the left side is kind of larger. In the chest over here, the black accents on the Astria shoulders, and then the silver and the metallic green. Of course, it's a more of a lime green instead of like this kind of darker green, but I went for the darker green anyways because I cannot find a lime green marker that actually is metallic. So that's basically all that I painted in, but other than that, the rest are made up by stickers. For example, the head jewel over here, and then the dragon eyes, the metallic green inside of the Astria head, the lens on the Astria head, the lens over here, the metallic green on the wings over here. I kind of messed this up because you're supposed to put the metallic green sticker on first before the gold sticker over here, but it doesn't cover the bottom. That's why I kind of use this kind of hideous gold just to try and give it a little bit more accents when trying to look at it from the bottom. And you got a metallic green here. Basically all the metallic green on the body is a sticker, and then the gold over here, that is a one giant sticker that wraps around the entire Astria foot. I kind of did mess this up over here as I kind of ripped it when I was trying to readjust it, so be careful with that. And of course the gold on here. So quite a bit of stickers, but most of it is just for the GN condensers, which I understand. But the gold stickers, even though I said thank God they're included, they are really not the best because first of all, they need to fold over multiple surfaces, and second of all, they do not carry the grainy metallic gold unlike the plastic pieces. So I would recommend you guys to go ahead and just paint those in because those are a pain to actually get them to look right. For articulation of the gun dragon mode, it's fairly what I expected. So the head cannot really move, the jaw can move down over here like so, and then this entire head moves on a hinge like so. It is only capable of nodding. I really wish it would be capable of some degree of rotation, but you can kind of cheat around it and use the Astria head and move it like so. It's kind of like curious. And then the talons over here, you can move on a swivel. And then this is basically the Astria's articulation, and this is not using the cross silhouette frame. I repeat, this is not using the cross silhouette frame. It's using the old SD frame, so the arms over here, the polycaps that connect the arms into the chest will fall out if you do not readjust it while rotating it. But anyways, it's capable of rotation, capable of a kick, and then the legs can bend over here. feet are on a ball joint, and the tail is fairly articulated. So first of all, you can rotate the tail thanks to the Astria's waist, and then the bend at the knee over here provides it with a joint. The ball joint in the feet kind of gives it another joint, and then over here, the connection point gives it a swivel over here, a rotation here, and a rotation at the sword. So the tail is fairly articulated, and I really appreciate that because this thing is fairly long. Like honestly, if I stand it up like here, let me bring in a normal Gundam, and it's kind of like master grade height if you stand the whole thing up. So basically this thing is going to take up a lot of shelf space towards the back, since this is basically just a master grade lying flat on its belly displayed on a shelf. So the protrusions towards the back are going to be fairly painful. So to solve that, let's transform it into the Dragon Fusion mode. So what you want to do is to take off the cannon over here, take off the head over here, take off the wings, and then take off the feet of the Rex. So what you're left here is basically the Astria. So first of all, you gotta rotate the arms like so. Kind of split the feet to relax it, and I really like how they did this. You can just remove the helmet over here like the regular SDs, swap the eyes around, and then the mask, it actually tucks into the helmet, but you kind of have to be careful because I do not know why mine doesn't work smoothly without me splitting the helmet first. So it just tucks in there, and you can just plop it back on like so. And then you take the talons over here, remove them, and these perform binders. So the hole that was plugged into the arm now plugs into the top over here. So you can basically plug that in, cover over the ball joint, and then initially the wings are plugged onto this socket over here. So now you plug it into the other socket like so, and plus the socket also kind of has a cut over here so the wings can flap out, so you can actually see the wings in all of their glory in the front. And then next up, you take the feet gear over here and just slot them into the feet, and then the remaining stuff is the weapons. So what you do is take off the launcher device and unplug this, plug it back on, flip it 180 degrees first, take off the sword over here, and just slide it into the handle over here because it has a slit for it to do so. And then over here, you just take off the dragon head and plug it onto the shield. It's kind of weirding me out that you can see the pupils, but we only have one set of stickers. And then you just take one of these and slide it into the gun over here, adjust the barrel for it to face the front, and collapse the jaw like so. And then for this, basically just slide it in here, and you're basically done with all the weapons. So this is the Valkylander in Dragon Fusion mode, and I have to say, it looks very, very good. It looks really close to the animation line art, and despite it using the old SD frames, it doesn't look like a Gundam with an oversized head and a squished body. It just looks really, really close. And I have to say, the proportions look good. The colors, as I did mention in the Gun Dragon mode section, it needs a little touch of light orange to make it look closer. But all in all, this thing does look good. The hair over here, I'm on the fence about it, but I think it's a reference to Nadale. But anyways, this is just a very good looking and very cute looking SD. So for stickers, basically, I mentioned all of them, but now we have the eyes over here and the gold over here that I kinda have a little bit of a mess up over here due to the black stain on it. But that's the newly exposed stickers, so there's nothing really too much to talk about here. Although despite its heavy sticker use, it's still really good looking. For articulation, it's the old SD frames, nothing to expect. So the head, it can't really move because the hair can get in the way. The hair can move on a ball joint, but it's not going to get out of the way that much, especially with the binders over here just getting in the way. So the head, you aren't really going to get much out of it despite it being a double ball joint. The arms, they're the same as the dragon over here. Rotation, it can go out a little bit, bend at the elbow, less than 90 degrees. The wrist, with a notorious hollow bottom, can rotate on a ball joint. I'm kind of sad that they didn't make the fingers sharp, or at least look sharp. And of course with the polycap ball joints, they are not the best, so yeah, the legs are falling off, and the arms are falling off. The waist can rotate all the way around, and then the legs, there's no skirt to obstruct them, so they can go forwards, backwards, outwards a little bit, could be better. Rotation at the thigh a little bit, a joint at the knee, which is not provided by the frame, but the plastic pieces, which is definitely good, because the old SDs using this frame, they do not have a knee bend, so it's kind of nice that they did this. And then the feet are on ball joints, and the wings are on ball joints, and thanks to the cut over here, they can be displayed like so. They can flap in and out, they can kind of rotate, but unfortunately the wings themselves are static, so you cannot close them or anything like that. And Bandai didn't provide us with closed wings for us to display this guy, because I prefer the closed wings on the Dragon Fusion mode, but then the open wings in the Gun Dragon mode, so it's kind of a shame. But all in all, articulation is what you expect from the SD, except for the legs, because they do actually have a knee bend despite not using any of the new frames, so it's pretty good. Accessories, so let's start off with the GN gun shield. So it's basically the dragon head biting down on an SD proportion Astria shield, which houses the GN gun sword inside. So the Valkylander can hold the shield like so, and then the sword can be just drawn out like so, just stuck in there. It's kind of hollow on the other end, so just have the good end exposed. And then we have the devices. So first of all, we have the GN flare device over here. It's basically a take on the Astria's beam rifle, and I did paint this in black, so I kind of did a sloppy job over here, but it's alright. It's better than having like a full red barrel in my opinion. So thanks to the dragon talons over here, you can actually provide a handle for it to hold it. And last but not least, we have the GN launcher device, which is basically a reference to the Astria's chest cannon. So you could actually dual wield the guns, but unfortunately you will have to ditch the sword and shield, because there is nowhere to store the weapons. But Parvis is apparently also a fan of the Strike Freedom Gundam, so these two guns can combine into the GN Mega Flare device. Yeah, this is supposed to happen. So you're supposed to take off the handle, shift the jaw to provide it with some clearance, and then reinsert the handle into these sets of protrusions over here. So slide it in just like this, close up the jaw again, and then combine the flare device with the launcher device. So now here we have the Mega Flare device, and from the anime, this thing does pack quite a punch. It has the firepower to match the V2's rifle, but not enough to outmatch the Seltzam, unfortunately, or the Zeltzam because it is German. But anyways, it does look pretty good. It's pretty oversized for an SD, but this is the only way that you're gonna get all the weapons on the body. But it's a pretty good mechanic. So that's all the accessories for the Valkylander. Now, just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna bring in the anime Core Gundam over here. You can see the Core Gundam is just as tall as the Valkylander. Wow. And then I'm gonna bring in Machal Gundam Barbatos. is this is not using the cross silhouette frame, nor is it using the old frame. So it would be a pretty good comparison. So this is going to be a review of the Valkylander. What do I think of this kit? Well, it's mixed, because the transformation gimmick is awesome, but it only looks good in certain aspects. And the polycaps, I do not know if it's my luck or not, but polycaps that do not work good, and especially because this is using the old SD frame, the polycaps in the arms are really just prone to fall off whenever you try to move the arm. But everything else on this kit, well, the black accents are missing, so you got to paint those in. And on top of that, there are no closed up wings for us to put onto this guy instead of the open wings, just in case some people would like to display the Valkylander with its wings closed. So the lack of options over there is pretty kind of damaging to the kit. But I will say this, the leg articulation is a surprise to me, and the accessories, apart from the all gold sword which you had to paint in the blade and energy and condensers, it's a pretty decent kit. So I would give it like a 6 out of 10, because this is just average. Like, the looks, of course it looks awesome, but in terms of functionality, it's just average. So get it if you want, don't get it if you don't. I personally do like it, but I don't understand what all the fuss is about. It only has a transformation gimmick, that's all. So it's basically just a new concept of an SD put onto an older, outdated frame, which is not good. But if you want to build this thing, I do recommend it, but not as strongly as maybe some of the other kits. But all in all, it's just up to your personal taste. So that's it for me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and also subscribe for more Gunpla reviews, Gunpla news, and all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to the featured channels on my channel page if you haven't, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, guys. Bye bye.